A lot of fans keep asking the same question. Why hasn't Naruto come back yet? And the further the story goes, the more convinced I am that his return right now could change everything. If you want to hear my take on it, make sure you watch all the way to the end. Every single subscription motivates me to keep putting out videos every day and bring you fresh content. As I recall, back in chapter 77 of the first part of the manga, Kawaki sent Naruto and Hinata into the Daikokuten dimension. At first glance, it seemed like an unbelievable way to push a legendary hero off the stage. But if you look deeper, it becomes clear. This wasn't just a temporary fix, because that's the exact moment a new era begins. Kishimoto and Ikamoto found themselves in a really tough spot. On one hand, you have Naruto, a character who has been the heart of this franchise for decades. On the other hand, you have Boruto, who finally needs to step out of his father's shadow. As long as Naruto is around, every single crisis naturally starts revolving around him. So the authors made a painful but necessary call. They didn't remove Naruto from the story, they removed him from the center of it, and the difference between those two things is huge. Think about the time contrast here. 3 years have passed for Konoha. For Boruto, those were years of exile, training, loneliness, and constantly fighting just to survive. For Sarada, those were years of trying to keep faith in a friend and reveal the truth to everyone. For Himawari, those were years of growing up without her parents, without anyone to lean on. For Kawaki, those were years of living inside his own lie, terrified of the moment it all falls apart. But for Naruto and Hinata, not a single moment has passed. They close their eyes in one world and will open them in a completely different one. Just imagine that impact. The last thing Naruto saw was Kawaki, someone he considered a second son. The last thing Hinata saw was a family that hadn't yet been shattered by Ada's omnipotence. And then they come back and find out that the entire world believes Boruto destroyed the 7th Hokage and that Kawaki is his true son. A twist like that can't just be dropped into the middle of a current arc. That's exactly why freeing his parents has to be the climax of a massive storyline, not some random event squeezed in between chapters about the Shinju. Right now, Boruto is trying to stop the Shinju, protect Konoha, and sort through the fallout of omnipotence. We saw something similar in the original Naruto. After Jiraiya was gone, Naruto had no choice but to carry that responsibility on his own. Nobody else could walk that path for him. And right now, the very same thing is happening with Boruto. But there's an even bigger reason why Naruto's return isn't possible right now. And it has everything to do with Jura. Every new chapter makes his threat feel bigger and more serious. And if you look back at Koji's visions, a really dangerous pattern starts to emerge. Naruto gets destroyed again and again, across multiple versions of the future, because Naruto will always be Naruto, and he's never going to just follow someone else's plan. His willingness to risk everything for the people he loves is one of his greatest strengths. But for Kawaki, that same quality looks like his biggest weakness. Kawaki doesn't see himself as a villain. In his mind, he's protecting the person he loves more than anyone else in the world. His logic is deeply flawed, but within his own way of thinking, it's completely consistent. He's convinced that Naruto will eventually get hurt if he's left free. After Naruto disappeared, the village of Konoha didn't fall apart, only because a new kind of balance emerged. But that balance is incredibly fragile, and Lord Kobu is already applying pressure. Now imagine Naruto suddenly coming back into that situation. Millions of conflicting memories clash with what people are seeing in front of them, and omnipotence is still shaping the minds of nearly everyone. Why doesn't memory match reality? A crisis like that could destabilize the entire power structure. That's exactly why the story is holding Naruto back from the action for now. So when could his release actually happen? In my view, the path to it runs through several stages. First, the major Shinju arc needs to wrap up. Then the story needs to zero in on Amato's real goals, because Amato never does anything by accident, and every move he makes looks like a piece of a much larger plan. When the storyline about bringing back his daughter reaches its peak, the story will move into its next phase. That means the confrontation between Boruto and Kawaki, and after that, the story will push forward toward the final arc. The manga's prologue is still hanging over everything like a prophecy. A destroyed Konoha, Boruto, and Kawaki, a conversation about the end end of the shinobi era. We know that moment is getting closer. We just don't know the road that leads there yet. After that confrontation, Naruto's release feels like the most natural outcome. Whether it's after a reconciliation, after Kawaki's defeat, or after both of them finally understand where the other went wrong. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens somewhere around chapters 65 to 70 of 2 Blue Vortex, which means we're still a few years away in real time. I know the wait feels long, but the payoff could be absolutely incredible. The most obvious key is Kawaki's right eye. Kokugan remains the main tool of access, but there's also an alternative possibility. The resonance of 2 karma marks, Boruto's karma and Kawaki's karma, could potentially act as an information bridge between dimensions. And here's one argument I find genuinely fascinating. What if the very first full manifestation of the Jugen turns out to be the key to Daikokuten, and the very thing that frees Naruto? Because in the anime, we saw how the Jugen can open portals to other dimensions whenever Boruto wills it. Naruto's main role going forward is no longer about being the strongest fighter in the room. His future significance is moral authority. He's the only one who can truly understand both Boruto and Kawaki. He's the only one who went through something similar with Sasuke, and the only one who knows what it really means to try to save someone who is actively walking down a path of destruction. But the most important thing of all is this. When Naruto does come back, he'll be able to do something nobody else can right now. He can publicly clear Boruto's name, and he can bring the entire village together around the truth.